Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. It's Wednesday, new release day here on the channel. We got to a very cool one that I guess I would classify as jazz fusion, jazz rock, maybe a touch of prog as well. Very cool band. This is their first album. The band is called Wasafiri, and Klearlight, K with a K, is the name of the album. And that's Wasafiri, Wasafiri. Okay. A little digipack here. Okay, so not a ton of information. I'm going to read you a little bit. It's like a nice little essay here that I think will make sense and explain kind of what this album is all about. So Eastwood Music Group proudly presents Wasafiri, a jazz trip tapping into the roots of decades of creative genius and the evolution of jazz fusion. A mutual passion for crate digging and collecting soul funk jazz records led executive producers Luke Sardella and Skin Wade to develop a concept for a modern fusion project reminiscent of the 70s funk jazz explorations they'd find while sifting through old stacks of vinyl 30 years ago. They imagined a record that would sate one's appetite for jazz improvisation and composition while also scratching the itch for the grooves and samples historically sought after by producers and pioneers of hip-hop, house, and acid jazz. In search of the right fit to articulate the concept, Sardello and Wade found a kindred spirit in bassist composer Max Gerl, G-E-R-L, who, despite his youth, was well-versed in the seminal recordings and musicians of that era. Armed with the advice of his mentor, Stanley Clarke, none other than Stanley Clarke, a living legend and one of the original creators of the jazz fusion idiom, Gerl enlisted other young jazz lions that knew their history but also grew up immersed in a world of sample-inspired electronic music. In order to properly cop the right vibe, the group set up camp at Klearlight Studio in Dallas, Texas, a spot known for its assortment of vintage analog gear. It would afford them the opportunity to employ some of the original tools that Miles Davis, Joe Zawinul, and Chick Corea used some 50 years prior, all recorded through an Audiotronics 501 console that had once resided at the famed Wally Hader Studios in San Francisco. The same studio where Herbie Hancock recorded Mwandishi, Headhunters, and Sextant in the early 70s. This record is the result of those sessions, Wasafiri's maiden voyage through past, present, and future. It honors jazz fusion throughout the decades while charting its own course into new territories. This is for the heads. This is Klearlight. Right, so now that you've gotten all that, the crew that recorded the album. Quentin Gray, Fender Rhodes, clavinet, ARP string ensemble, ARP 2600, and Mini Moog synthesizer. Ethan Dithart, electric guitar and nylon string guitar. Max Gerl, electric bass and ARP Odyssey. Marcus Jones on drums. Nick Rothaus on percussion. Shelley Carroll on flute and tenor saxophone. Matthew Babineau, bass clarinet, flute on one track. And then, live vocals, Cole Riddle. It says live vocals. I don't know what that means. I guess barely, if there's any vocals on here. I've listened to this like 5 times. I don't remember hearing any vocals, but maybe there are little vocalizations here and there. And then Cole Riddle plays Prophet on Wasafiri theme and future Step 2 tracks. Mixed by Josh Block, mastered by J.J. Golden at Golden Mastering in Ventura, California. Creative design by Sardello and Wade. Layout and design Spencer Cole Porter. Wasafiri logo by Jeremy Biggers. So on and so forth. Executive produced by Sardello and Wade. So, now in saying all that, what the hell does this sound like, Pete? Well, it is, like I mentioned earlier, it's kind of like a mix of 70s jazz rock, jazz fusion, certainly that kind of like funk fusion thing that they mentioned in the little essay there. Think a lot of Herbie Hancock's more funky fusion, early mid-70s period. He mentioned some of the albums, Mwandishi, Headhunters, Sextant, that sort of thing, that period. There's also a heavy early Weather Report feel here for me. I'm not talking about the Jaco Pastorius era later in the 70s. I'm talking about the original, Miroslav Vitus and Joe Zawinul and Wayne Shorter, and various drummers here and there, and also various bass players. All the stuff kind of pre-Jaco, before they had that more like kind of soulful Latin tinged jazz thing that they were doing. It's definitely more of the avant-garde stuff from earlier in the decade of Weather Report. You can hear little bits of maybe Return to Forever, sort of, but not. To me, it's certainly some late 60s, early 70s Miles Davis before he got ultra funky. There's funk on here. It's not quite that far. It's not quite like On the Corner funk. You hear little bits of like Jack Johnson and maybe little bits of Bitches Brew here and there. There's like this slight edge of improvisation that happens from time to time. Some of the tracks are a little bit more concise and composed. Others are a little looser, that allow for some a little improv and some jamming here. There are 11 tracks in total. I really like this a lot. The bass playing, okay, they mentioned, what was his name again? Max Girl. He's really good. The guitar playing from Ethan Dithart is excellent. There are certain songs where he just goes, off into the stratosphere. There's some great keyboards on here. Love the Fender Rhodes and the ARP stuff on here, and there's little flashes of Moog, or Moog, but I love the electric piano layers across this album. Really nice. Rhythms are good. The rhythms are pretty funky, which is kind of neat. Latter in the album, I think the last track or two, they get it's a little more space rocky, exploratory, proggy. There are bits of prog throughout the album. There's some synth solos, some of the mini Moog solos kind of veer more into prog than it does fusion. But overall, I really like this a lot. There's some great playing on here. It sounds like it came from like 1972 or 1973. That's what I like when I hear fusion, that kind of captures that vibe from days gone by. And I love the cover. I think that's great too. So yeah, Wasafiri Klearlight. Check it out. Is there any links on here? Ken Golden has got this for sale, lasercd.com. There's no links whatsoever on this entire package here. But if you go check them out, again, it's spelled W-A-S as in Sam, A-F as in Frank, I-R-I. Okay, Wasafiri. And I think you'll like this. If you're a fusion fan from the 70s, you love a lot of the bands I just mentioned, some of the artists I just mentioned, you will totally dig this. 4.5 out of 5 star for me. I'm really enjoying this. This was a late 2022 release, so it's already a couple months old, but well worth your time. If you're a fusion nut, if you're a prog fan, you will definitely like this, I think. So go check it out. And visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, if you care to take a look, we've got the link to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as the link to our merch page, where we have all sorts of great Sea of Tranquility stuff available. So thanks, everybody, for your support, for your views, and for your subscriptions, and we'll see you real soon here with more content. I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.